What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down slightly, 1.68%, 652 the low, 677 the high, but we are seeing fairly low volume. So 41 million shares being traded, 87 is the average. So this price action today is very eerily similar to yesterday's, where NIO was getting suppressed during the pre-market. Just the difference was yesterday was because of that fake lawsuit, but throughout the day you do see NIO recovering. No different than today. So kind of interesting stuff, except the difference is there was no new kind of speculative rumors or anything. The reason why NIO was getting suppressed during the pre-market was largely because of increased tensions between China and the States. At the same time, we are having on the American side a lot of fear. And of course, NIO does get affected through algorithmic trading. So what is really affecting a lot of the American stocks is regional banks, higher delinquencies, and of course, this is kind of throwback to 2024 when this same type of scenario did happen. So at the end of the day, that is why NIO did get suppressed during the pre-market. But like I said, things are starting to kind of recover. So NIO really does want to retest that $7 range. Just not really enough there just yet. So I'll go over some of the data points and technicals, but nothing really crazy coming out from NIO. No SEC filings, no press releases. Only thing that really came out was this. So I brought this up yesterday. So the ET5 Shadow Edition will be launching today. We did get the price point, so 43.5 and then 28.6. So this is why I feel if Canada, for instance, does reduce their tariffs down to 0, like Chinese stocks are going to just flood the market. And honestly, I'm open to it because coming from a Canadian, we like our only option is American automakers. And so definitely Chinese are a lot cheaper, and also arguably in some cases, aside from I feel like Lucid, it does have better technology. So at the end of the day, this is some pretty cool price points, and it does only for this one, for the Shadow Edition, only 555 units will be available. No different than that the Firefly, which had 666 units only available, so that's a special edition one. So good kind of stuff for this. Aside from all of that though, shorts are increasing about 200,000 shares. 12.09% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 167 million shares overall being shorted. So as I've mentioned in the past, with there being a lot of available shares, so right now there is kind of more than 10 million plus shares available, and it is fairly cheap to short NIO, not promoting it or anything, but if shorts really wanted to double down, there's more than enough ammunition for them to do so. So the fact that they're not definitely does go to show that there is a lot more upside anticipated. Looking at the options right now, 13 million in calls, 5.3 million in puts. 41% of all the options being done are neutral in nature, and that is just because of big money, the amount of money getting in ate up both the bid and the ask. So of course, systems can't really tell whether it was a buy or not, because it was not really oriented towards the bid or the ask. And obviously this is the culprit right here. So there was 8.8 million, and that was done between 12:55 and 1. So big money definitely getting in, just so you guys can analyze this options or these options right here. So I'll just orient it based on premiums right here. So it looks like a lot of them were originally bearish, but it looks like $6 calls were sold for January 16th, November 21st, and looks like January 16th. So based on the timestamps right here, it was a multi-leg transaction. But again, I think it's showing as bearish right here, but in reality, some were going to be neutral in nature. So let me know your general thoughts on that. But I guess if you subtract that one, maybe some of the other ones were that neutral kind of aspect that is making up that 41%. Aside from all of that though, from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above $7 going into next week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 650. So definitely a little bit more mixed, but with today being Friday, just take note of this. So this is all the open interest. So right now with it at 667, so the 650 and below strike prices are right now in the money. So we do have 22,000 at that 650, 8,000 at that 6, 7,000 at that 5. So best case scenario, it would be nice for NIO to close above 7, but obviously not really in the cards today. So that does mean currently the $7 and above strike prices are going to expire worthless. So that's kind of the downside of doing options. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So you do see 4 sells and then 1 buy right here. So big money is not really buying the dip. So I think the big culprit for NIO today, what's really moving it higher, is hedge funds and algorithmic trading. Why algos are really pushing it higher, that's $1 million question, especially given the amount of fear that's in the broader market. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. So first one was done pre-market, so 707, 4.28, and given the fact that NIO did recover quite significantly, it is fair to assume that one is a buy. It's a little bit trickier with the dark pool because it's supposed to be anonymous, so you kind of have to look at the price action on the chart just to see if this is a buy or a sell, or you have to orient it based on time, see some of the transactions before, after, and see the price. So it's a little bit more difficult to tell, but nonetheless, with it at 667, trading between this pivot and this S1, so the 662 is going to be that key point to really watch for it to hold, and best case scenario, it does close above that, and then that way, going into next week, we can test that $7 range. So 662, just kind of watch for that. Aside from all of that though, on the actual chart, it is still above that 50-day moving average, below that 10-day moving average. So most likely over the next little bit, these are going to converge and pinch a little bit. So potentially causing a very nice push higher or lower, but some extreme move is going to come in most likely the next week. So we'll just have to wait and see, but there hasn't really been all that much in articles coming out associated to NIO. Algos, you can kind of see right there, have been making up for a good amount of volume, and no new analyst ratings. So I know I bring this up every single video only because I've been covering NIO for a while, and that's very odd that we have not had any ratings since September the 23rd that was officially posted. So it seems like institutions don't really care about NIO's numbers, about the monthly and quarterly numbers. So possibly they're just waiting for NIO's upcoming quarterly earnings, which has not been announced just yet. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Are you buying? Are you selling? What's your general thoughts on NIO? And potentially, if you're not buying now, at what price point would you buy more? So as I've mentioned, I'm going to be selling a lot of puts going forward. And so in case you guys don't know, if you like a stock, I suggest you buy puts only because you can choose the strike price you want and you get a premium. And regardless if it closes above or below that, you get to keep the premium. But if it closes below, you get to buy at the price you want. So it's kind of a win-win in my opinion. So I do that on a lot of stocks that generally I like and I don't mind owning. So I'm going to be doing that with NIO going forward. Probably the 650, 6 and 550, various expiry dates, but that's probably what I'm going to be doing. So what are you doing? So let me know your thoughts. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.